Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IDL Week 3. I'm your host this week, Jake. We have our first battle today versus Vampire versus Bang Caterpie, and let's get right into this. So immediately we have Cabalion versus Garchomp, and both of them were going actually both getting up their rocks this turn. And outcome, Cabalion goes away fearing the Earthquake, most likely, as Garchomp does go for the Earthquake on the Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz obviously not being affected due to being hit flying. As Venusaur comes out being immune to the Toxic, which is really great play on Bang Caterpie, as he gets off that Mega, and Mandibuzz defogs away those rocks. Actually really being better for Bang Caterpie as now Staraptor comes free basically. Out comes the Gourgeist being able to absorb Leech Seeds, but actually goes for the Sludge Bomb, taking a hefty chunk. So Gourgeist is now scared out, and out comes back out the Cabalion, predicting another Sludge Bomb to come out, as it does. Venusaur leaves, now out comes Garchomp, revealing it to actually be Tank Chomp with the rough skin Rocky Helmet, and most likely Max Fizz Death, as rocks both come up again. And so Cabalion is now scared out, as out comes the Forgis, who is actually immune to the Dragon Tail, and out comes an Iron Head doing a massive amount of damage. Psychic really not doing anything to Garchomp at all. So out comes the Mandibuzz on the Earthquake again. Earthquake not affecting it, so now it could go for the Roost, showing it does outspeed, but it is actually Dragon Tail, so it's -1 priority. Revealing the Rocky Helmet on the Mandibuzz too. And out comes Gourgeist again. Should go free for the Leech Seed, but out comes Venusaur, being able to eat those up, being grass type and not affected by it. Predicting the Sludge Bomb goes into the Cabalion, and as it happens, great plan, Ramp. So here comes the Leech Seed. Cabalion actually has the Roar, and out comes the Staraptor, and Cabalion is scared out due to a close combat or a Brave Bird doing a hefty amount, as it goes for the U-turn on the Mandibuzz. And out comes the Granbull, who will do a decent chunk with a Play Rough, can possibly Toxic or Thunder Wave it, as Granbull does in fact go for the Thunder Wave, crippling the Mandibuzz quite a bit. Just any status on anything is terrible, as Play Rough does a lot to this. It's a Mandibuzz which has a lot of health, as it does get Toxic, wearing down the Granbull significantly unless it has Heal Bell. As out comes the Tentacruel, and Granbull goes for another Play Rough, not doing really too much to the Tentacruel at all. And Granbull is spread out to a possible Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, as it does go for a Sludge Bomb on the Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus not being very effective, eats that up easily. Scald, it's wearing it down, it's now burned, so they actually exchange burns with the Will-O-Wisp, as both are now being worn down. As Tentacruel now switches out into the Mandibuzz, and Cofag comes out or switches out to the Slowbro, and Slowbro will be able to pick it off with Scald. And out comes the Porygon 2, which does Trace Regenerator, which is very good. And out comes the Cofagrigus, and on the Tri-Attack, so now that did nothing. It's not effective. And out comes an Ice Beam, not doing enough to pick it off, which now Cofag can now do what it does best, which is Pain Split, getting almost a really good chunk out of Porygon, and also healing up quite a bit, as it now burns it, so whittling it down slowly. As Porygon goes for the cover, and Cofagrigus now goes for the Pain Split again. So it's just going to be a stalwart for a bit. As Porygon 2 switches out into the Forgis, and Forgis actually does heal up on the Pain Split, which is really nice for it. As the Cofagrigus is now scared out into the Venusaur. Venusaur not going to take anything from this Moonblast. Actually, it was quite a chunk, but yeah. Psychic is a 50%, maybe a 2-hit KO if that is a low roll. And Sludge Bomb not being able to pick it off, and it appears that Psychic was a low roll in fact. So Fortress switches out maybe for a potential sacrifice later, as Venusaur does go for the Giga Drain, and Cobalion goes for the quick attack on the Slowbro, actually doing more to it with comes again the Gourgeist on the Psyshock, not doing anything to the Gourgeist, doing it have a massive physical defense stat. And out comes the Leech Seed as it Thunder Waves it. Leech Seed going to be giving it a good amount of health. Slowbro has a lot of health, as does Gourgeist, but out comes the Grand Bull. Grand Bull really not being able to do too much besides the Intimidate on potential Seed Bomb, Explosion, and Jousting. It doesn't really get too many good physical attacks. Actually being able to heal Bell all the statuses, which I mean, there was what, 2 or 3 Mons on Van Caterpie's team that were statused. As Vamp's team has really no sort of healing cleric on besides from the Fortress. So Leech Seed does go on Granville. Granville switches into the Staraptor, most likely being able to pick this off with a Brave Bird, since it is Reckless boosted, as Brave Bird does pick it off. Recoil obviously doing a bit back to it, but I mean, Gourgeist is gone, which was a major threat. As out comes the Porygon 2, not being able knocked out by that, and will be able to finish off the Staraptor with an Ice Beam. And Burn will whittle it down to very little health, as Garchomp will be able to finish off the Porygon with an Iron Head. Out comes Tentacruel. Tentacruel is going to actually scare it out, and out comes Slowbro, who hard walls this pretty much, basically. As it could go free for Psyshock now. Sludge Bomb not doing too much. Psyshock being able to pick off the Tentacruel. And out comes Cobalion. Cobalion will not be able to break this Slowbro. Slowbro actually killing it with the Rocky Helmet. And see, as it does slack off, so now it's at full, and Rocks are going to be able to finish off the Fortress. So here we have battle number 2 of Matrix Gaming versus Didia. Matrix bringing a bit of a bulkier offense team, having set up on in the Slurpuff, versus another more bulky offense on Didia's side with the speed in the Sneasel. And let's get right into this. So here we have the lead on the Registeel versus the Diggersby. Diggersby obviously being able to threaten out with the Earthquake, as out comes the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl now being able to get off its Mega, as out comes the Aggron, who walls this pretty hard due to Aggron having a massive amount of defense. And out comes the Volcanion, who can threaten this with either a Fire Blast, Flamethrower, even a Steam Eruption. Out comes the Vaporeon, predicting one of those, as Flamethrower does not do really anything, but does get the burn, which is really nice, especially against a wall like Vaporeon. Out comes the Venusaur, as Vaporeon just goes immediately for the Heal Bell, and then is immediately scared out, and out comes the Kyurem Black, who takes a knockoff, knocking off its item, crippling it somewhat, not really, I mean now it gets change-up moves, and actually goes straight for the Earth Power on the Registeel, but eating its berry is unaffected almost completely. Looks likely a full Spadef Registeel as it gets the Thunder Wave off on the Mega Aggron, and immediately goes back into the Volcanion, and Aggron gets up Rocks, which are really good against the opposing team. Sludge Bomb not going to be able to do too much to this Vaporeon. Can status it, but it does, as shown before, it does have Heal Bell and Wish, so it does hard wall this Volcanion completely, especially when it's paralyzed. So it's just going to be stalled with Wish, Protect, Heal Bell. As out comes the Aggron again, and Volcanion also is now switched into the Venusaur, as Venusaur really can't do anything to an Aggron, as out comes the Volcanion once again, taking the Earthquake not too well, as Aggron is actually able to outspeed due to the paralysis and picking off with an Earthquake. So Slurpuff now comes out and it reveals actually to be a special variant with Flamethrower, but being picked off immediately by a Heavy Slam. As out comes the Tyrantrum, not going to be able to do really anything due to Aggron just having such a high defense stat. Heavy Slam not doing too much either though, as Earthquake does a bit more. But Mega Aggron is now weakened, however there is Wish support with the Vaporeon, as Registeel does come back out, potentially for a Seismic Toss. As it takes that Earthquake and actually reveals it has Earthquake as well. As out comes the Sneasel, who can go ahead and pick this off with a low kick, revealing it is Life Orb instead of a Scarf variant, or a Abandoned variant. As out comes the Aerodactyl, immediately scared out that, and as now comes in Diggersby, eating up that hit kind of well, but being able to be picked off by the Aerial Ace following turn. So Celebi comes out, not going to be a really good switch in, as Leaf Storm will not be able to pick it off and it takes way too much from that Aerial Ace. And out comes Sneasel again, being able to pick it off with an Ice Shard due to Aerodactyl previously being lowered. And out comes the Venusaur once again, which should be picked off by an Icicle Crash. So here we have battle number 3 of week 3 of the IDL League. We have Itzferix versus Dark Angel. Itzferix bringing a very bulky team, and and Dark Angel having some good things to break through him, such as Lopunny and Togekiss. So let's get right into this. So we have the lead of Infernape versus Lopunny, Mega Lopunny, as Lopunny does threaten that with Fake Out, or really anything, as it does outspeed and does go for the Fake Out, revealing that Mesprit is most likely fully physically defensive, just to counter that Lopunny, as out comes Jirachi on the Thunder Wave. So out comes the Mamoswine, who can definitely threaten this with an Earthquake, or in this case a knockoff, knocking off its Shuckaberry, which did weaken an Earthquake. So it was actually better to go for that, as now it can be picked off by the Ice Shard and then die to the Life Orb damage that is taken. As out comes the Mega Lopunny once again, and actually goes out into Snorlax, who does take the Fake Out, and if the high jump kick does hit, which it does, actually has the Chople Berry to reduce the damage and goes for the Body Slam, hoping for a Para. However, does not get it. Goes for the Protect in case it does go for a high jump kick, which it actually does go for the Frustration. Goes straight into the Mesprit, which has been shown to be full Fizz Def, being able to take that Frustration pretty well, as Mega Lopunny is scared out from a Thunder Wave or a Psychic, as Thunder Wave does hit the Milotic, which now Milotic, most likely having Marvel Scale, has raised defenses now, which is very bad. Snorlax comes out and Hydreigon comes out. Hydreigon easily going to be able to pick this off with a Dark Pulse, as Mesprit does come out and is also picked off by another Dark Pulse. Kind of bad play, seeing as that was a Lopunny check, as the close combat does actually crit through the berry, Chople Berry on the Hydreigon, being able to pick it off. Most likely EV'd to live close combat with the Berry, not including the close combat, or the crit, as Thunderwave is able to hit the Scizor and is picked off easily by a Fire Blast. I don't know why the Togekiss stayed in if threatened by a Volt Punch, but as Milotic is now out on the Infernape. Thunder Punch not being able to do anything due to Marvel Scale being activated. As Milo can't go for an Ice Beam instead of a Scald anymore. As goes for close combat, lowering its defenses. And goes for another one, now being able to be picked off by a Scald easily. That Scald does pick it off. And from here, Manaphy does come out. Manaphy actually goes straight for Tail Glow, as Milo does recover. Energy Ball not being able to pick it off at this moment, but should now at +6, as Mirror Coat failed due to Manaphy not attacking. As out comes the Togetic, or Togekiss, predicting an Energy Ball as it does go for it. As Ice Beam will be able to finish off the Togekiss. So out comes the Emboar, who gets off a huge chunk of damage with the Wild Charge. Manaphy having 100 base everything, still taking that much. Yeah, definitely a Scarf Emboar, unless it is Min Speed and Manaphy. But anyways, Fake Out and High Jump Kick or Frustration will be able to pick this Manaphy off. GG. Here we have the final battle of this week, week 3, of Levenant versus Regitube. So Levenant bringing no Mega, as does Regitube, but however Regitube does have the Sand Rush Excadrill along with Sand Hippopotas. So let's actually get right into this battle. So we have the lead of Aerodactyl being normal versus the Jolteon, as Jolteon does go for the discharge, actually revealing that it is actually Zoroark, who is free to go for a knockoff. Actually puts it down to Sash. If it was Thunderbolt, the Zoroark would be dead right now due to Life Orb damage and also excess damage, but it was discharge, as knockoff is going to do a lot to Flygon, and Flygon will actually not be able to get up its substitute that plan, and Life Orb being able to pick it off, as Aerodactyl non-Mega comes out and beats the Flygon. Out comes the Hippopotas, threatened by an Aqua Tail, 2-8 KOing it, as it does get up rocks, and Aqua Tails once again killing that. As out comes the Excadrill, Excadrill being threatened also by an Aqua Tail, but decides to go for a Swords Dance and really got greedy, as Aqua Tail is able to kill it too. Out comes the Landorus, who can live in Aqua Tail just due to its sheer bulk, unless it is banded, but it doesn't. Focus Blast not really being able to kill it, as an Aerial Ace will be able to kill it. Nice. As Volcarona comes out, will be able to die to an Aerial Ace. It is Sash, however, so Sand will be able to pick it off. Goes for the Quiver Dance for some reason, instead of a Fire Blast potentially picking this off, but that was a fast 5-0. So that concludes week 3 of the IDL League. Be sure to like and subscribe to the House Infinity channel. I'm once again Jake, and goodbye.